Hi everybody, welcome very much to the channel. Today we're here to talk about spirituality in general. Before we do so, leave a like and subscribe, and remember you can book readings, personal consultations, dream interpretations with me using the link tree down below or the email down below. You can also visit me on Instagram. So today let's talk about the different realms of reality. But I know that's a very general topic. There are many things we can talk about there, but I want to differentiate here is the spiritual realm, the mental realm, the emotional realm, and the physical realm, because they are the four most obvious realms that we can talk about and identify. Then we have the whole conversation about the dimensions, the multiverse, galaxies, different worlds, as in literally different planets and whatnot, different universe inside of another universe. That it's not really the point here, because what we want to talk about is what we can perceive and what we truly are in this realm right now. So we have the spiritual realm, the mental realm, the emotional realm, and the physical realm. And I want to start by saying that no one is lower or worse than the other. We have a lot of spirituality people that say the physical realm is worse, the emotional realm is demonic, the spiritual realm is angelic or whatever. That's not true. They have their own characteristics, and that's it. It is what it is. Let's stop biting off the fruit of the tree of good and evil, so we're not casted away from Eden. What does that mean? Let's stop judging things in general. Certain things are bad for sure, or good for sure, but in general, right? Just don't be good or bad, just be that's the experience, it is what it is, and then you can live in a state of bliss. So now that we did that, there is no ranking in terms of quality, but there is a ranking in terms of awareness, expansion, reach, size, right? And there is a ranking in terms of speed. How so speed? Okay, let me talk about that. We are creators. If you are alive, if you are aware, you are a creator, not a creation. Never believe anybody or any book telling you that you were created by something else. No. You, as a single spirit, as a solo spirit, came together with other spirits to create your mind, your body, and whatever. You didn't create anything by yourself, but if you are aware, like me, doing this video, you are the main spirit. You are the main character in your whole system. That will be another video, because depending on your personality and alignments and life in general, you can tell if you are the main character or if you have other spirits trying to be the main character as well. That's where some mental illnesses come from. It's like you have other spirits within you trying to take the throne, trying to be the main character. That's for another video. So you are the main character, you are a creator. So when I talk about speed, I talk about how fast your creations come to life, because you can't just think something and then it happens, but you can think something and it happens over a period of time through certain rituals and spells, through effort, through work, through teamwork, through consistency, through willpower, through sabotage, through manipulation. I don't know, but things can happen. Things that you want to happen, things that you need to happen, those things can happen, but not immediately or not instantly in the physical realm, right? But on the spiritual realm, things are different. So, and on the emotional realm and the mental realm, like things are different. That's what I mean about speed. It's how fast can you create things. Another difference as well will be for how long can you maintain things. So, from the fastest to the slowest when it comes to materialization and manifestation, we have the spiritual realm, the mental realm, the emotional realm, and the physical realm. And then the emotional realm and the mental realm, they kind of like a cycle. So the really true opposites are spiritual realm, God realm, whatever, and physical realm. And do not confuse mental realm with spiritual realm. A lot of people do that. It's not the same. The spirit creates the mind, creates the awareness. All right. So the mental realm and the emotional realm, they kind of yin and yang. They affect each other and they go within each other to create, they influence each other in different ways. Of course, the physical realm can also influence the spiritual realm, but the spiritual realm 90% of the times is influencing the physical realm and not the other way around, while the mental and the emotional realm are way more connected. And the thing is, in the mental realm, things are faster. You can travel faster in your mind, in your imagination, than you can do with your emotions. And if you think about something, you're going to feel something. And if you feel something, you're going to think about something. But you need to spend more time in an emotional space for your mind to be flooded with certain thoughts and ideas. And it's way quicker for, of course, it depends on your alignments. If you have more water elements, maybe it's the other way around. But in general, your thoughts spark things faster and change things faster than your feelings. Your feelings is more to maintain things. And that's when we now come to the other point about maintenance. Once you create something, in which realm that thing will last the longest? Well, that's the physical realm. The physical realm is where things last longest, like trees, mountains, oceans, your body. Like in average, a person lives like 80 years, right? So those things can exist for a very long time. Now, spiritual states you tend to be very short, especially about spirits that live in this realm. You can see a lot of people, they have no morals, no principles, or they just sell them and switch them really quickly. That's a representation of the spiritual state that most people are in. But in general, because that's only applying to this world, or to the world, or to the parts of the world that we know, but in general, a spirit travels way faster and changes way quicker than something physical. That's why it requires focus, a lot of consistency and willpower for you to be consistent in this realm, for you to be loyal to your values, to your principles, for you to be loyal in general. That's why cheating is so common, right? In specific parts of the world, right? And that's why sometimes people one day are really good people, another day they treat you like shit, or they forgot the good things you did, because it's very easy for spirits to move spaces and see the same thing from different perspectives. And that's one of the reasons why we created this physical realm, so we can spend more time within our creations and then learn about ourselves and how we create as general spirits and as individual spirits. So we need more time to observe those things, we need more time to study our creations, and that's why we created this physical realm also as a balance point to the instability and chaotic nature of the spirit. You have a lot of spiritual practices, doctrines in Masonry, and a lot of other things where they are afraid of the feminine or of the spirituality because it's chaotic and unpredictable. But if you know yourself, if you know you as a creator, it's not unpredictable. You know your general traits as a spirit. Those people only are afraid of the spirit because first they're trying to control and study other people that they can never really know, and because they are rejecting other schools of thought that allow them to know themselves as a spirit creator, so they are afraid of when they feel something different, when their perspective is now changed or their principles is changed. You know what I'm saying? And now let's see, why does this matter? What are the practical applications of this spiritual awareness? First is to understand that you are not a victim of reality. You are not a victim of your thoughts, your feelings, and the physical realm. You are responsible for the things that happen around you and within you, and you are not powerless. In the spiritual realm, you always have the power to change your mentality, your emotions, and your physical body, even. Of course, that's like right now in the human race power, we can't regrow limbs like that, but you can change your health, you can change your body shape a little bit, you can change your fitness level, you can change your reactions, you can change your resilience, physically speaking, you know what I'm saying? And then you can change your emotions and your feelings by changing spiritually. Another practical application, by knowing that things happen faster in the spiritual realm, is that it's way stronger, it's way more powerful to be 1 second in a good spiritual space than to be a long time in a bad mental, emotional, or physical space. A person can be suffering for 20 years physically, mentally, and emotionally, but once they go into a healthy spiritual space, it's like they forgot about it. It's not like they have the memories, but those bad things are not as impactful as they were before. It's like they're far away. It's like really, it's like those memories are far away. They can think about it, but it's not impactful that much because now they're on a different spiritual space and their spirit has liberated itself from those bad events, from those things. You know what I'm saying? Another practical application is that through physically through physical consistency, you can pin down your spirit into a specific space. That's where the physicality can really help the spirituality is through consistency, repetition, commitment. Because your spirit, especially if you have a lot of fire elements in your chart, a lot of air elements in your chart, it can go anywhere. It can go everywhere. So you might be dedicated to something, then you don't feel motivated or capable enough. You might be needing to achieve certain status or be responsible about some things, and you just don't want to. You feel rebelling against that. You feel like you can't do it, or those things are not worth it. That means that your spirit is going everywhere. It's not in the same space, creating the necessary mentalities and emotions for you to proceed with those actions. But physically, if you like meditate, if you calm yourself down, if you treat yourself good with some good meals, good exercise, with space, with silence, with good company from others, with good nature, good movies, good content in general in life, your spirit will be more attracted and less motivated to leave those spaces, so you can spend more time in the same spiritual space to create more emotion and more mentalities that can represent and help you achieve whatever you want to achieve physically, emotionally, and mentally. Another practical application is pretty simply just patience. Learn patience. Because you might have this spiritual principle, this mission, this love, this motivation for something. You might have this great vision. You might be super unique and super individual. You might have the power to change the world. But that doesn't mean that you will manifest and materialize those powers and connections immediately. It might take years, it might take weeks, it might take months, it might be a process where you have to keep recreating and improving your mental, emotional, and physical abilities that represent your unique, innovative, rebellious, and opposing spiritual state, because this world exists for many, many, many years, right? So to change it, you have to bring something that is very powerful and consistent. And that takes time, of course. But that is to say for you to not be disheartened. Do not stop believing in yourself and in your path, because even that's another practical application of this concept. Even if you don't achieve those things physically, maybe you achieved emotionally, maybe you achieved mentally, but for sure you achieve spiritually. And that's really important because when you die, you go to where your spirit is most attracted to. You go to the spaces that you were in right before you die, or if you care within you, if you carry with you a lot of the same minds and feelings, you go to spaces that represent those things, and then you create or enter into a world that are similar to what was in your heart before you died, or if you spend a long time alive in the same space. So if you achieve spiritual creativity, spiritual power, spiritual willpower, spiritual movement, spiritual transformation, spiritual creation, spiritual ability to impact others, when you die, you'll go to those places. Or it's just like someday you just wake up and it's like you know it all, because it might even take 20 years, but spiritually you were in the right space, you were expanding, right? So that means that you as a spirit, the source of creation, you know how to do whatever, and then one day the mentality, the emotion, and the physicality finally caught up to your spirit, and now you can do it like you were born knowing how to do it. And to finish the video here quickly, in the start of the video, I'll talk about awareness, space, and expansion, and I ranked the spiritual realm as the most expanded and where you can have the most awareness, then the mental realm, then the emotional realm, and the physical realm. And the good representation of this is how science was very focused on the physical realm, and they couldn't explain many things. They couldn't even explain human nature, why certain people do certain things, they couldn't explain certain trends, and they just couldn't explain certain scientific observations like the atom split experience. They don't really know what the universe is made of. They couldn't really explain black holes and time traveling and whatnot. And now, as the science comes to more quantum science, things are getting more spiritual, because in the physical realm you are less aware in general. Why? Because in order for you to create a physical realm as a spirit, you have to contract yourself. That's for another video as well, because you make a contract with other spirits around you, and all of you contract yourselves to create a specific realm to experience and learn about specific things. But a lot of people in this realm, way more back in the day than right now, they were lost in physical perspectives because they contracted themselves so much that they forgot that they were a spirit. They forgot they were something more than the body. They even forgot that their emotions are important, their mentality are important. They forgot that they are more than this body in different levels. So they would give characteristic, but there was always that feeling for the entirety of human history with logical cognitive abilities. People thought and wondered, where do we come from? Why are we here? Why do I think this? Why do I feel that? Why people do this? Why people do that? Why is reality like this? So there was always a spark in the backs of everybody's mind that reminded them we are more than this. But people were so focused on the physical realm that their awareness was very, very limited. So always remember to be aware of more. Don't let what you see, feel, and think limit your awareness of what you know, what can be real or possible. In the spiritual realm, first, everything is possible, all possibilities, but we're not on the spiritual realm. We are in a spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical realm, all connected, all interconnected, and sometimes interchanging, correct? So you need to have that in consideration. We spend more time when you are awake in the physical realm, in the emotional realm, in the mental realm, and that's on purpose. That's by design. So people call this the simulation, a prison. No, we chose to create this, and you can live this when you go to sleep, when you meditate, when you are creative, when you are in a straight space of focus or willpower or passion or rage. You are being spiritual. You're not caring about the rules, social etiquettes, and all the contracts that you made with other spirits to contract ourselves to create this realm. When you go above all that, you know you're being spiritual, right? And that's how you can be more aware. It's literally just be more open. Be like, okay, I've seen this, but maybe there is something more behind this. Maybe there is another cause, a group of causes. Maybe there is a reason. Maybe there is a teaching in this situation. Because as spirits, we are creators and responsible for all the events that we go through and that we witness. That's another practical application, because a lot of people blame the world and others and themselves for things that happen to them, and they don't understand that they created or attracted or chose to participate in those events. And that's where you understand that the spiritual realm is more aware, that you can perceive things from bird's eye view with more reasonings, more possibilities, and better understanding to what happens physically, emotionally, and mentally. And now, to end the video for real, remember that you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, you are not your body, you are the creator and the harbinger of those. Even your body is a creation of yours and you are not your body. That's why you say, my arm, my feelings, my thoughts, my leg. It's yours. It's like my mouse from the PC, my microphone, my screen, my camera. I'm not those things. They belong to me, or spiritually we agree to be in the same space. And it happens to you. And remember, if you focus too much on your body, on your mind, on your feelings, you will lose the ability or limit the ability to be more aware, more wise, and the ability to transform and change willingly. Keep that in mind. The fastest realms, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, the more consistent, solid, long lasting realms, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And I think I'll do a video because the mental and the emotional realms are very close to each other, but they have their own characteristics. It's important to understand them. For example, minds can change faster than feelings, and sometimes you are functioning, you are existing as a normal member of society. You talking normally, you don't seem distressed, but emotionally you can be slightly distressed because emotional states take way longer to shift and it requires more action practically and spiritually to change your mentality, especially if you have a lot of air sign elements, can change very quickly. That will be for another video. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility in your and responsibility. Believe in yourself and in all possibilities. And keep it cool, keep it cute, keep it healthy. See you on the next time.